training and institutional support, many small and marginal beekeepers may struggle to remain competitive. However, alongside these challenges, there are extraordinary opportunities emerging within the honey ecosystem. First, and perhaps the most promising opportunity, lies in the global shift towards natural, organic, and health oriented products. Consumers today are increasingly seeking raw honey, medicinal honey, infused honey, bee pollen, propolis, royal jelly, and bee wax based wellness products. This opens vast possibilities for diversification of higher income generation. Second, the honey ecosystem has tremendous potential for rural entrepreneurship and women led self help groups. Beekeeping requires relatively low in land investment and can be integrated effectively with horticulture, agroforestry, and sustainable farming systems. It offers an additional source of income to farmers while simultaneously improving poppy yields through pollination. Technology is also transforming this sector in exciting ways. Digital platforms now enable traceability, direct to consumer marketing, and real time hive monitoring, scientific innovations in breeding, disease control, and climate resilient agriculture practices are helping improve productivity and sustainability. In countries like India, with immense floral diversity and rich traditional knowledge, the potential of becoming a global leader in premium and specialty honey products is significant. Himalayan honey, forest honey, monofloral honey, and indigenous bee products can become powerful ambassadors of our rural prosperity and sustainable enterprise. To realize this potential, collaboration is essential. Governments, research institutions, private industry, farmer producer organizations, startups, and civil society must work together to build an integrated and resilient honey ecosystem. We need a stronger quality standards, better training programs, investment in research and infrastructure, and policies that protect both bees and beekeepers. Most importantly, we must inspire the younger generation to see agriculture not as a traditional occupation alone, but a modern green enterprise aligned with sustainability, innovation, and global market opportunities. As I conclude, let us remember that the story of bees teaches us one profound lesson: collective effort creates extraordinary outcomes. A single bee contributes little alone, but together the hive creates nourishment, resilience, and harmony. May we adopt the same spirit as we work together towards a future where the honey ecosystem thrives economically, ecologically, and socially. Lastly, I congratulate the organizers for bringing together such an important dialogue and extend my best wishes for productive discussion and meaningful outcomes. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your visionary and inspiring address and for gracing the occasion as a chief guest. Indeed, there is a bright future in Ladakh for honey production, and we should explore ways to how we can produce honey here in Ladakh. And this Honey Conclave is a platform for such things. To extend our collective gratitude, I now invite the co-convener of the World Honey Conclave 2K26, Dr. Kunchok Dorje, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Julie, good morning. Today's chief guest, Professor Rajesh Ranjan, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central Institute of Buddhist Studies, Professor Saket Kushwaha, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, the convener of this conference, Dr. Subrat Sharma, Director, Rashtriya Raksha University, Ladakh Campus, Mr. Nawang Tundub, Worthy Register of the University of Ladakh, esteemed collaborators, partners, dignitaries, keynote speakers, deans of various faculties, deans of SAST, delegates, participants joining online as well as offline, and dear students. Once again, a very warm good morning, Jule and Namaskar. As we come to the conclusion of this magnificent inaugural program of the World Honey Conclave 2026, I deem it a great privilege and honor to propose the word of thanks on behalf of the Department of Zoology, University of Ladakh, and the entire organizing fraternity. First and foremost, I express my deepest gratitude to our chief guest, Professor Rajesh Ranjan, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central Institute of Buddhist Studies. Thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion with your gracious presence and inspiring us with your profound thoughts and vision. We are deeply enriched by your wisdom and your blessings here today. My heartfelt gratitude goes to the visionary patron of this conference, Professor Saket Kushwaha, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh. We are deeply grateful for your exemplary leadership and constant guidance, which have been the driving force behind the hosting the conclave of this global magnitude. Thank you, sir, for always believing in our potential and guiding us at every single step. I extend my sincere thanks to the convener of this conference, Dr. Subrat Sharma, the director, Rashtriya Raksha University, Ladakh campus, for his relentless execution and strategic direction in bringing this conclave to a success. I am very thankful to the administrative pillar of our university, Mr. Nawang Tundup, the worthy registrar of our university. Your constant administrative backing has been invaluable to us. We are honored to have an exceptional galaxy of intellectuals here. I convey my heartfelt thanks to all the keynote speakers who have been traveled from various national and international destinations. I also extend my gratitude to all the deans of various faculties of University of Ladakh, the deans and directors of SAST, the senior professors of the university, and all the participants present here. As an event of this scale is impossible without a strong synergy, we owe a depth of gratitude to our co-organizers and collaborators who worked shoulder to shoulder with us. My sincere gratitude goes to Sher Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology, Jammu, Global Green Growth Corporation, Bangalore, the Hive Trust, Bangalore, Rajiv Gandhi University, Arunachal Pradesh. We sincerely acknowledge our generous funding institutes and the partners whose financial and logistic supports turned this vision into a reality. My sincere appreciation and acknowledgement goes to National Anusandhan National Research Foundation, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, Leh, Jammu and Kashmir Bank, Leh, Firgon Fund, Social Initiative Foundation and Amale Foundation, Punjab National Bank, Leh. Thank you all for investing in a sustainable future of apiculture. A special words of appreciation goes to the spine of this event, the organizing committee. I highly appreciate the efforts of Dr. Jyoti Fazwal, the organizing secretary of this convener of this conference. My sincere thank goes to Dr. Irshad Ahmad, the joint secretary of the conference. Thanks goes to Dr. Amjad Hussain, Dr. Quitsia Tabassum, the treasurers of this conference. I also express my deep gratitude to all the advisory members as well as the members and conveners of the various working committee. Your meticulous planning execution are the reasons that we are witnessing such a smooth inaugural today. Thanks to the faculty speakers, poster presenters, oral presenters, and warm gratitude to all the speakers and participants who have joined us virtually as well as offline. My thanks to the faculty members, coordinators of the University of Ladakh, the energetic student participants of University of Ladakh, whose enthusiasm has filled this hall with a life. I also recognize and thank the dedicated non-teaching faculty of the University of Ladakh who have worked silently behind the scenes to handle the groundwork. Last but certainly not the least, I extend my gratitude to the media cell of University of Ladakh and all the external media persons present here today for providing an excellent press coverage and ensuring that the voice of this conclave reaches to the masses. Thanks also to the manager and team of the Grand Hotel for managing this event. If there is anyone I have failed to mention, please accept my sincere apologies and my heartfelt gratitude for every single hand who has contributed to the success of this event. Thank you once again, everyone. I wish you an enriching, productive, and memorable experience over these 3 days of World Honey Conclave 2026. Thank you so much. Namaskar, Jule, Jai Bharat, Jai Ladakh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for acknowledging everyone who contributed to the successful organization of this World Honey Conclave inaugural session. May I now request all dignitaries to kindly assemble at outside for a group photograph. With this, we conclude the inaugural session of the World Honey Conclave 2K26. You are cordially invited for the high tea at designated venue. The next technical session will start at 11:30 a.m. Thank you, Julie, and wishing you all a meaningful and enriching conference experience. Thank you.
नहीं मैम आप बुलाओगे हाँ इनको सच में शुरू होने से पहले ना तीनों की नोट एड्रेस है कन्वीनर बैठेंगे और वीसी सर को शायद नीचे बिठाना वीसी सर को वो लगा दिया चलिए गए तो सर मैं किसको बुलाऊंगी इनको खाली स्क्रिप्ट करने के लिए हाँ Good morning and a very warm welcome to all distinguished delegates, speakers, research and participants to technical session 1 of the World Honey Conclave 2026. I am Dr. Jyoti Falswal and I feel honored to moderate this session today. First, I would like to invite all the keynote speaker and the chairperson to the stage, please. Mr. Apurva Bivi, Chairman of the High Trust. Second keynote speaker, Dr. Debjani Day, DST Vidushi Fellow, IRI New Delhi. Third keynote speaker, Dr. Faizan Ahmed from Kargil University of Ladakh. Okay. And the chairperson, Dr. Devinder sir. Please, sir. Thank you, sir, ma'am. This session will deliberate on highly significant themes including beekeeping, apiculture, and technological innovation, biodiversity conservation and pollination ecology, economics, market dynamics, policy, and regulatory framework. These themes reflect the growing importance of sustainable apiculture, scientific innovation, biodiversity conservation, and policy engagement in shaping the future of honey and beekeeping sectors globally. So today we are privileged to have with us esteemed chairperson Dr. Devinder Sharma, PI of AICRP, SQUAST from Jammu, whose expertise and guidance will greatly enrich today's deliberations. I would also like to acknowledge our rapporteur, Dr. Ishad Ahmed, Dr. Zaish Khatu, Ms. Sonam Angmo, for their valuable support in documenting the proceeding of this session. I request all the participants to actively engage in this discussion and make this session academically vibrant and productive. We shall now begin with the keynote address. Our first keynote speaker is Shri Apurva Bivi, Chairman of the Hive Trust, Bangalore, Karnataka. Shri Apurva Bivi has made significant contribution in the field of sustainable beekeeping and apiculture development. I warmly invite Shri Apurva sir to deliver his keynote address. Sir, please take over the dais.
Warm greetings. Today, first of all, my gratitude and thanks for giving me an opportunity to share my whatever experience I have learned and pursued from the So whatever experience I have pursued from the past 18 years in beekeeping. So predominantly I'm doing Serrana beekeeping and promoting ecosystem for Serrana beekeeping across country. So today's topic for me is about stationary beekeeping. So, we will be thinking of more migratory beekeeping to produce more honey, and that is one way of looking at it. But there is one way where we can establish a model where a beekeeper or a farmer will not incur losses or put more input for migratory beekeeping. He can stay at his village and he can produce honey sustainable way and put very less stress to the bees. So this is my topic about the stationary beekeeping. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to talk about my organization. So we started in 2011, and we have been predominantly doing beekeeping training programs, also into conservation and advocacy of sustainability of bees, not only the domesticated bees, also the wild bees. So especially the bees which are in conflict right now is Apis dorsata in urban space. Whenever there is a big nest hanging in the balcony of any apartment complexes or institutions, people will panic, and they will call pest control companies, and the bees are getting killed. So for this, I am suggesting institutions, organizations, even schools, colleges, and even apartment societies, resident welfare associations, to follow certain methods where you can coexist with bees for certain period of time. So this is known as the bee sensitization talks and engagement with the community. And we have been involved in tribal beekeeping. So we have in Western Ghats, Siddhi, Gauli, Kunbi. So these are all the some of the tribal communities, and we have been doing capacity building programs with beekeeping also. So one of the region where I have worked is in Chhattisgarh in Dantewada. So there we went to deep forest. This was in 2018. You know what is Dantewada is more heard about, and and also, yeah. So we trained them, and we gave them beehives, and I took beehives from Bangalore and went all the way to Dantewada in 2 nights. So, for the first time, they saw bees. And let me tell you, when the intent is very clear, so there will be no conflicts there. You know what is the conflict over there? The insurgency was very high over there at that time when I went there. But there is no conflict about the intent of beekeeping, because it is promoting the forest and agriculture. So they monetize the idea. So this is what we have to teach, and give them skills so that they can monetize the idea. We should not be giving idea about something where they will never be able to monetize it. So this is one way where we can do some capacity development and development in the region where many things cannot reach also. This is not working. So we have been training the tribal communities in the forest region. So we have been giving the basic input of beehives, and we also worked with the flood rehabilitation projects, and the people who are rearing honeybees in earthen pots. We gave them scientific beekeeping training, and now they are not only rearing honeybees but also have reporting mechanism where they can report to organizations like us, and all the involvement happened, and they harvested honey wax, and this honey is sold for 1,000 rupees per kilo minimum. So this is what we are doing in urban areas in Bangalore. So there is a clear vision of loss of habitat. So they are coming and nesting in earthen pots where they are making compost, and inverted empty pots, plant pots, shoe boxes. In their attic sump cover. So you can see the clear case of loss of habitats in urban areas. The tool room, and we have in India we have 27 species of stingless bees. Stingless bees do not exist here, I think. But we have plenty of stingless bees, but there is a loss of habitat for stingless bees also. You can see in this pole, there is a colony of stingless bee. We have thousands of stingless bee colonies in the electric poles. So we have been educating people also to sustain it wherever they are. So we have been doing all the capacity building and training. And this is one school in Bangalore, in the outskirts, where I was able to convince the headmaster to do this, educative drawing, where people passing by can learn and identify the importance of pollinators. So also schools are coming to my apiaries. A lot of people come to my apiaries, even beekeepers from Ukraine, Siberia, UK, US. They keep coming to my apiaries, and the good part is that children with parents, they are coming to apiaries to learn about the bees. So that is our future. Right now, we are targeting schools, primary schools, where we can give a bee hotel, a structure which is made for solitary bees. They will not make honey, but they are vital for pollination. And this is our future. So they have to appreciate what we already existing. Then only we can do something like that, right? So he's my son, right? Okay, so I have been very doing a lot of advocacy about indigenous bees, but I have been a mellifera beekeeper also. I had kept 100 bee colonies and harvested good amount of honey also. So today I'm going to talk about some hybrid mode where we can start doing stationary beekeeping with both Serrana and mellifera also. So the advantages are immense. Already, as I have told you about, the operating cost will come down for a beekeeper, because right now in European Beekeeping Association there is a new topic which is being discussed. So in Europe, the cost of producing 1 kilo of honey is about 6 to 8 euros. So the honey which is imported to Europe, it will be 2 euros. So their discussion is not about much about adulteration or something like that, but their discussion, their worry is cheap imports. Okay, cheap import is their worry. So in India, to produce 1 kilo of honey, what is the cost of, what is the expense the beekeeper is bearing is immense. I'll tell you because I have been to AP Mondia in Copenhagen. So there, the average production of honey per hive per year is 50 kilos, and that is without migration. Okay, so the local honey is getting more value and they are getting very good production. Both things are working. But here, to produce 40 kilos to 50 kilos of honey, beekeepers are traveling, migrating about somewhere between 5 to 7 migrations in a year. So only after that, we are able to harvest 40 kilos to 50 kilos. Some exceptions will be there, but average, I'm telling you average. So this is very brutal. This is going to become very brutal in the coming days, because anyway, honey consumption is very less in India. So honey consumption is probably 25 grams to 50 grams, sir, probably nothing more than that. But when it is compared to other countries, it is much higher. So we have to think of a way of few people, at least few models should be there where we can decrease the input and increase the production. So all these things are there: management practices, site selection, and environmental impact. One such environmental impact with respect to diseases, spreading diseases. When we do migration, disease spread will be very easy. The right now, India is bearing for a new threat and challenge. It's called small hive beetle, which has come from West Bengal through, I don't know from where. So the West Bengal beekeepers sold bees to Andhra, and the Andhra beekeeper came to Karnataka. And in Karnataka, now small hive beetle infestation is everywhere, not only to the domesticated bees, also to the wild bees. So this year, this rainy season, we are going to see some big news about the small hive beetle. So if we do stationary beekeeping, these kind of things will not happen much. But I am not saying that everyone should be doing this, but some beekeepers can take this idea. So these are all the negative side of the migratory beekeeping. Colony stress. So whenever the colony is under stress, disease will spread, pathogens, parasites, everything will double. So I have seen in my Serrana beekeeping, when we do migrations, even in short also, wax moth infestation will be very high. After we deliver, the beekeeper will call, we have found a lot of wax moths. Because wax moth, I think you will all know that it can skip their, the life cycle very quickly, very opportunist in a way. So those things can be controlled. And health risks, as I told you, operations. So even in the social impact also. So we need to see how the migratory beekeepers are living. Are they improving also? See, when the migration starts, like it starts with mustard, and then they will go to several other flora, and they will come back in the summer, or they may go to Himachal, Jammu. So it depends. Sometimes they will leave their homes for 3 to 4 months also. So these things are there. Cultural impact and social impact is also there. So overall impact, we have to see. So what we have invested, what we have lost. So that is one thing. So we have different species. India is very diverse. We have four varieties of major honey making honeybees, where 2 species can be domesticated, Serrana and also stingless bees. So stingless bee honey is also getting very popular now, and it can be domesticated. I am creating meliponaries. Meliponaries also is being popularized now, especially in Northeast. They have Lepidotrigona, which is big, which is relatively bigger than our stingless bees, which can make more honey. So that honey will have to be, popularized. And many people will know about Manuka honey. So India should have its Manuka honey, its own Manuka honey, and researchers will have to really put their effort on identifying the special grade honey in India. Like the buckwheat honey, whatever we were discussing, do we have special components? Do we have special factors in that honey so that even 1 kilo of honey can be sold for premium price? That we have to explore. So India is producing around 140,000 metric tons of honey. That is what the official figure says. Iran is producing more honey than India. Okay, they are producing 2 lakhs. So now, is it only the quantity? Can we come into the quality sector also? Can we maintain the phenols? Can we maintain flavonoids? Can we maintain enzymes? Can we maintain everything, whatever honey needs to be maintained? So, can we get into mellifera beekeeping with supers? It can happen with stationary beekeeping in some regions, not in all regions. So this is what we have to really think on and create livelihoods. It can be implemented through NGOs, cooperatives, and FPOs, where we can do the right way of doing things. So So it is not just about producing honey and making income generation, it is also stewardship. So overcrowding is not very advisable. So in stationary beekeeping, we can do the right things. So we have history, log hives, wall hives. So those things are there. So can we think of a better scientific way, but still stationary way? So I'm proposing one idea about selective breeding. It's been there with so many things. It happened with dairy farming very aggressively. It happened, but can we do with bees also? So in Denmark, I identified one factor. It is not only the flora, it is not only their environment. They are also doing selective breeding continuously. It is not like whatever we have, it is excellent and it is running. So what has happened to mellifera after coming to India? What are all the changes? So it will have to be tested. It will have to be done more screening where stationary beekeeping can happen. Because I have seen that in Denmark also they are keeping three mellifera: buckfast, ligustica, and even carnica. So buckfast and ligustica they are keeping for honey production, and carnica they say it collects more propolis. So like this, do we have different mellifera? Can we have different mellifera for different regions in India? In the same way, we can do for Serana also. So no work is being done, if I am not wrong. No work is being done both for mellifera and Serana with respect to selective breeding. This can really support stationary beekeeping to create more livelihood, less stress to the bees, and good for environment. So even like I told you about the mellifera system, we have to really think of, some regions in Uttarakhand, it could be possible where they are growing mustard and also there is a forest, there is a eucalyptus in the same region. So there, without migration, it can help. So there, we need to identify some hubs where we can do stationary beekeeping model also profitable, as good as or better than migratory beekeeping. So in 2021 only, very recently, so Ministry of Agriculture have given the official statement that beekeeping is the fifth and most important input for agriculture. It is as important as soil to agriculture. Now we have identified. And when it comes to economic value of pollination, so it is around 1,12,000 crores economic value of pollination. So, and let me tell you, developing countries require more pollinators and more pollination because we are producing more food than the developed countries. So we require this sustainability to happen here in our country. And in those days we were not having all fruits, all seasons. Now we are getting all fruits and all seasons. And when we are doing these things, we require more pollination. It doesn't mean that we have to keep on producing and selling beehives everywhere and overcrowd everywhere. We have to do it rightly, correctly, and scientific way without overcrowding. Overcrowding is bad. I have seen in quota regions where beekeepers actually fight for places. So in the evening, I sat with them. They were doing panchayat, where he came first, he came second, but both are keeping their 600 beehives very close way, within 300 meters. So that is creating a lot of competition. So these things will have to be intervened also. There should be a policy for how much crowd should be kept. What is the health of the bees? In other countries, there is a representation from veterinary department where they are checking the apiary health and reporting also. Before migration, what is happening? And even in checkposts also, I'm not really expecting all those things, but there should be a system for migratory beekeeping, because it spreads disease and parasites also. So, and also apiculture industry is growing. That growth should be like finding out the factors like components like methyl glycol in Manuka honey. We may find different things. It can't be methyl glycol, it could be something else also, which will be having healing property, which will be having therapeutic property, and very high valued medicinal value. For example, stingless bee honey. So stingless bee honey contains trehalulose in good concentration. Trehalulose can reverse diabetes. So these things will have, if you give stingless bee honey to FSSAI test, it will fail. So we have different varieties of honey, and honey definition should be different. What is Floria honey? What is Dorsetta honey? What is Serena honey? What is stingless bee honey? So we cannot compare with orange and with apple. So it should be different. And some honey will not have good shelf life, but it is very much, higher in medicinal value. For example, Dorsetta honey will ferment very quickly because of higher moisture level. It doesn't mean that it's very inferior honey. So we should not be generalizing this. That is my, and also in the end, mental health, beekeeping for a hobbyist, for an individual, mental health is something where we have to discuss in all, platforms. So beekeeping can calm you. Beekeeping can give you mindfulness. That is being tested across country, especially in the Western world, where beekeeping is a very, very good activity, and also for hobbyists who have taken up this. And bees buzz between 400 hertz, where it is a vibration of healing property. So we need to identify this not only as a livelihood, production, and economy, but also with mindfulness and calmness. So this is what the beekeeping means for me, because I have been a bridge between the scientific community and bureaucracy and the community, where the people really use this for livelihood or anything. So we have a culture with bees, we have stories with bees. So let us come together and work on it, and let us be a right one, because in a way, beekeeping is new to India. Only after independence, the KVIC started to do this, popularizing this for employment generation for the people who are in the fringes of forests. But in Europe, they were doing from past 300 to 500 years. So when we are doing things, we have to see that we are doing right way, not clipping the wings, not harvesting from only brood chamber, right? I know, even I have been a beekeeper, and I know the difficulty, but changing the dimension of the beehive in a way where they can do honey in supers, right insulation. If we ask beekeeper, what he will say is that I'll do everything. What will be the price of honey? Right? So there we have to address, there we have to intervene. So if this is the quality of honey, this is the price you will get. If he is working everything, and if his honey is sold at the price of the bad practice also, bad practice production also, it will not serve anything. So we need to do grading. One is a sweetener grade honey, and another is a premium honey with all medicinal property intact in it. So this is what I wanted to communicate in this prestigious event. So thank you so much, and I'm ready to collaborate in research, especially the selective breeding in South India. even I can work also. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Apurva.
Now stage is open for question and answer. Hello.
Do you migrate your hives or South India, your temperatures are different from what we experience in North India? So do you practice migratory beekeeping also, or it is stationary at one place?
So right now I am doing only one migration from my apiary in the outskirts of Bangalore to Coorg, which is only 230 kilometers. So even after there, the bees will be there for 3 to 4 months, between February to May. And after that, I'll be bringing back to my apiary where we are blessed with coconut plantations in South India where we get pollen throughout the year almost. So if I want to produce my premium Kodagu honey, which is in high demand from my own production, I migrate to the Kodagu. But because I'm in Bangalore, my family is in Bangalore, I cannot do a stationary beekeeping with more production, but I am limiting to only one migration.
Any other question? Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Apurva, for delivering such a very informative the keynote address. So this is definitely an issue that bees they are declining very fast. Due to unplanned infrastructure we are doing, the biodiversity loss we are doing, forest loss is there. Apis dorsata are declining very fast. We are experiencing Jammu and Kashmir, Sirana is also declining very fast. And one point you have told that stationary beekeeping of this Sirana. So as far as Jammu and Kashmir or North India is concerned, we have the Apis cerana species, which is very, can say, not so humble or not docile during winter season. So absconding tendency is very high. So Dr. Rol sir is here. He has done very good work on this. So he will deliver on this.
Uh, your stationary concept may be good for Apisarana because they have small colonies, they are in logs, they are in wooden hives, and their population cannot be increased beyond certain limits because they have the uh, tendency of absconding. But so far as mellifera is concerned, I think if we have to go for commercialization, migration is a must because may not be finding flora at one place, and for this there may be weakening of the colonies, there may be attack of pests and diseases when there is a dearth period. So colonies need to be migrated for double production of this extra crop of the honey for survival of the colonies because the colonies can build up at new areas where temperatures are somewhat suitable. So I think in case of mellifera, migration is a must.
Yes, sir, I totally agree. But if we work on some places, not all places, it will not be possible for every beekeeper or every farmer to do stationary beekeeping. But can we identify some places where it can really create a model where a stationary beekeeping can be profitable? And what is missing here, both with Serrana, we have to work on selective breeding where it can reduce absconding. Desertion is a main problem with Serrana, even in South India also. So that is where, I have given one colony to one of the person. It stayed there for 12 years. Yes, there were divisions, new queen was there, but still it stayed for 12 years. So can we do some selection? Can we do, we should start. When we start, then it may happen after 5 years or 10 years. But we will have to start with selective breeding. And yes, as Dr. Abrol sir told, it will. Even I have migrated mellifera when there were attack of predators like the green bee eaters. We had to run away from that place. So SOS, yes, we have to do. But there are some places in India where stationary beekeeping can become an example.
But that remains limited to those pockets only.
Yes.
If we have to commercialize, we have to move throughout the year.
I agree, sir. We cannot do for everyone, but yes, for example, in Coorg, stationary beekeeping is possible because in some parts the nectar flow will start from January itself.
And
So-
breeding has not been successful because the natural selection of the bees, which have better productivity, better characters, is the only solution. Because even if after breeding you will place in the ecosystem, again there will be merging.
Yes,
Because
yes,
you
yes.
cannot have control on drones.
I asked the same question to a queen breeder in Denmark, where he is producing 7,000 queens per year and selling it to not only the Denmark, England, Georgia, so many other countries. So he told for this question that in your apiary, you start to work, you start to identify, you start to screen. Yes, these things will keep on happening, but if everyone will work, if every beekeeper can work, there will be a certain level of screening. For example, I'll tell you about Serana. Uh, the pioneer of Serana beekeeping in South India is from Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So we have seen lesser absconds in our colonies when compared to the wild Serana colonies, which are dark stripes. So we have seen that very lesser absconds, lesser desertions in the colonies where the beekeeping is done, and continuously it has been kept in the beehives and bred in beehives. So we have seen a significant change in the behavior and also the absconding behavior also. So in this way, can we start? Can we start working on selection, and slowly we may achieve something, not to a greater extent, but we can go halfway also.
Dr. Apurva, I may tell you, during the spread of Thai-Sag brood virus, we were working in Kashmir, we saw that domesticated Epicerana colonies were totally wiped out. But in the forest, the natural colonies were existing. They had no problem of sag brood.
Yeah, definitely. Thai-Sag was a corona period for the bees.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
what happened? After that, people adopted mellifera and decimated Epicerana.
Yes, yes.
Now in our J&K, you will not find a person who is having Epicerana.
Yeah.
Only everyone shifted to mellifera.
Yeah.
Even if they had some colonies of Epicerana, they allowed them to abscond and shifted to mellifera.
I'll give you one example, sir. Yeah, again, with Tamil Nadu and Kerala, they continued beekeeping in Serana because mellifera did not work very well because of the green bee eater problem. So they continued even after Thai-Sag. They continued even after everything. In some way, they got some herd immunity, I can say. So 90% of the Serana colonies in South India, I can say they are immune to Thai-Sag. Only here and there we hear some infection, something has happened, but we are continuing with Serana, and it is
Serana, they are very effective to defend against
yes,
this wasps, predators.
yeah,
They have shimmering movements.
yeah,
They frighten the, and then they have ball farming. That is, they capture the wasp and form a ball.
Yeah, ball.
And by heat they generate. By heat they kill the wasp.
yeah. It happens for the robbers also. So we researchers and with beekeepers. Beekeepers will have to extend more contribution towards this selective breeding program. I think it should start somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other question from participants? No question? Then please allow me to move ahead. Thank you, participants and Abrol sir and chairperson for question answer interaction. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful presentation on beekeeping and for sharing your valuable experience and perspective with us. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Debjani Dey, Emeritus Scientist, DST Vidushi Fellow from IRI in New Delhi. We are delighted to have her with us today. I would like to tell you all that she is my PhD guide also, who guided me throughout my PhD journey and made me expert on the Halictidae bee family. Ma'am, please, stage is yours.
At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers of this Honeybee Conclave for giving me an opportunity to talk about bees in general, and very different from what you'll be hearing from the earlier speaker also and other speakers also. I'll be talking about the bee diversity which is present in India, and what more explorations, however, are needed for uncovering the actual number of species which are there in India, and how we can use them further, their ecosystem roles, and how to conserve them. Just before I move on to the bees, a little bit about the diversity of organisms which are present in the, you can say, the whole world. If you see, the animal diversity is at least 5-6 times more than the plant diversity. And within the animals also, yeah. And within the animals, among the animals also, if you see, invertebrates are dominating many more times compared to the vertebrates, and within the invertebrates, insects are dominating totally compared to the other life forms. So around 10 lakh plus insect species have been recorded, but this, according to most of the entomologists, this is hardly 10 to 20% of the actual number of estimated species which are expected to be in the on Earth. So if we just see, you can see more than 70% of the animal diversity is due to the insects. And among the insects also, from among the 29 orders, all of you being zoologists will be knowing, these are the 4 orders which are actually comprising 81% of the total described species. Most dominant is Coleoptera, followed by Lepidoptera, Hymenoptera, and Diptera. So the faunal diversity of India, total diversity is 1,05,244 species. These are the latest figures given by ZSI. And this is only 6.26% of the global faunal diversity. So more explorations, and we have to be very, we have to be very alert. Whatever you see, it might be different, it might be same, but you should try to explore and try to identify what is it. Hymenoptera is one of the economically and ecologically important order, because it has got predators, it has got parasites, and it has got useful insects like the bees also. And 1.5 lakh species have been described, which all the people who are all the hymenopterists believe is not even 10% of what is the actual figure. Bees belong to Apoidea, superfamily Apoidea. This is one of the 18 superfamilies of Hymenoptera, and both bees and wasps, specific wasps, are included in this superfamily. And you can see the worldwide figures and compare with the Indian figures. So we lag behind. We need more surveys and more explorations to increase the number of recorded species. Now, how to identify a bee? How to differentiate a bee from the wasps? So, very easy. These wasps, they have golden or silvery facial hairs, but in case of bees, hairs are dull. This is important because there is a lot of mimicry of the between these two groups. Bees and wasps, they resemble each other uh, very closely. So often people do make a mistake that this is a wasp and this is not a bee. So now, bee history, more than 100 million years ago, uh, the bees evolved. And first honeybee appeared about 20 to 27 million years ago. And beekeeping was started by humans only around 4,500 years ago. So, what are bees? As I said, Hymenoptera. These bees are very fascinating creatures that are active on pleasant days and visit flowers. They are robust, hairy, ovipositor in the females are modified into a sting, and they feed on they are total vegetarians. They feed on nectar and pollen from flowering plants, and they are very important pollinators of natural vegetation crops, fruit trees, fiber crops, etc. They produce useful products. We all know honey, wax, propolis, etc., etc. But uh, but their usefulness till now, till very recent times, was limited to only these products. But now we have become more aware that they are doing much more as pollinators to the whole ecosystem. And some of these bees, only a few, some bees are social, and they have excellent modes of interaction and communication. Now, these are some of the interesting habits of bees. They have special adaptations for diverse flowers. What I mean here is not every bee will pollinate every flower. They are very specific for the flowers which they pollinate. Ability to find food and nesting material, which they bring back to their hives over long distances, ability to remember where they had found the resources, and they always will go back, return to them till the time the resources in that particular location is over. Architectural devices, if you see their hives, they are really wonderful. And they also have the habit of robbing the nests of other species. So within the various bee groups also, you will see lots of obligate robbers and also kleptoparasitoids. Now, importance of bees, if you just think of pollinators, they are very good pollinators, providers of commercial products, household pests, apitherapy, and indicators of biodiversity. Till now, we were always focusing on honey production and production of other useful items from from the bees, but pollination, the ecosystem service, that is the pollination, which is essential for survival of all living beings. This was not that much stressed on. So, if you compare the bee products, you will see that they are of trivial. I am not saying bee production should not be done, but if you just compare, then these products are of trivial value compared to their role as pollinators of natural vegetation, and this is rarely observed or acknowledged as such. Bee pollination is important for, you see, all cultivated crops, horticultural varieties, flowers, fruits, vegetables, and fibers, forage crops. And in some of the crops, seed setting and fruit production is entirely dependent on the bees. Uh, Sometimes bee pollinated crops also, in the absence of the bees, they can self pollinate, but inbreeding depression occurs after some time. Crop pollination is both by honeybees and wild bees, and estimates of bee pollination is increasing in terms of acreage and value of the pollinated crops. Uh, Now, we are more particular about this, so these values are also now being seen. Bee pollination is important for plants. Wild bees now will become wild bees or solitary bees. They will now become more important as pollinators, because we have seen that dramatic decrease in the feral colonies of honeybee populations are happening because of various reasons. It can be climate change, it can be introduction of these mites, etc., etc. And many a times there are crops, examples of crops which we think are pollinated by honeybees, but many a times the activity of the honeybees is less compared to the wild bees. And there are examples where wild bees are already commercially in use for pollinations. For example, osmia, this is a halictic. It is used for pollinating fruit trees in Japan. And megachile, we all know, we refer to them as leaf cutters, but they are also very efficient pollinators, and they have been used for pollinating alfalfa in many years, for many years now, many areas and many years now. These are some of the important bee pollinator groups, most of you know, and each of these groups are very specific for for the particular crop there. For example, andrenids, we all know they are very efficient pollinators of apples, apricots, so like that. Bee pollinators, you can categorize them into two groups: the bees which produce honey, and also some of them are social, some of them are semi-social, and also the non-social bees, for example, halictids, mecachylids, etc., etc. So, till now, contributions of non-Apis pollinators have not been quantified. For example, in mango, Chrysomia megacephala, this is not a bee, this is a diptera, but it has been found to be a very, very efficient pollinator, and it has a wide thermal adaptability. So it is not only the bees, there are many other insects of other groups also, which can be looked into and used for pollination. Similarly, carpenter bees, you all know, they have a significant role in pollination of solanaceous and leguminous vegetables. Now, providers of commercial products, you all know, honey, wax, propolis, etc., etc. Apitherapy also is known. Bee venom is used for treatment of several ailments, but not very common. But I feel Ayurveda and all might be stressing more on the utility of bee venom in their traditional medicines. Now, indicators of biodiversity. This also most of you would be knowing. Biodiversity monitoring by bees is becoming more and more. It's a very powerful tool, and it in a way supports sustainable agriculture. You can see from the pollen collected, you can understand the plant diversity which is present in a particular location. And if there is more diversity, the ecosystem will be more healthy and balanced. Similarly, pollination efficiency. By monitoring bee activity, we can also measure how well the bee is pollinating crops and wild plants. And chemical exposure, many a times the behavior and the health of the bees can give us early warnings about harmful agricultural pesticides. It can be use of particular indiscriminate use of pesticides, etc., etc. And now, importance of honeybees for fun also. In fact, this person, Vipin Seth, he tried attempting for world record, Guinness Book of World Record, but he was going wrong. So, with scientific inputs from us, he could set this record, and still it is there. His heaviest mantle of bees. So, it was in our division, entomology division. Now, if you come to the biogeography of India, you can see the weather or of whole of India. If you see, it's a very combination of humid, tropical, Ethiopian, Mediterranean, Himalayan, etc., etc. And if you correlate the diversity of bees with each of these type of climatic conditions, so you will see there is a specific tilt of certain species towards a particular uh, thing. So if you see the world diversity, hot biodiversity spots, there are 34 biodiversity spots. This covers only 2.3% percent of the Earth's land surface. Yet, if you talk about the plant species and animal species, more than 50% of the world plant species and 42% of the animal species are endemic to these areas. In India also, we are lucky to have several biodiversity hotspots. Himalaya, then Indo-Burman, then Sundalands, Western Ghats, Thar Desert is a hot desert, and also Ladakh, the cold desert. This also, so everywhere these divisions can be correlated with climatic and biogeographical conditions. And also you will see very distinctly the pattern of diversity which is present, and also very endemic fauna which are only found in a particular region. For example, one of my students, she worked on the bee diversity of Meghalaya, and we were surprised. She could, because it was COVID time, she could not survey that well, but still we could see that 40 more than 4 dozen new records were there for the state. Although Meghalaya is a state, Northeast has been explored by many people, and at least 5 new species also we found from Meghalaya. Uh, so, the various climatic regions of India, flora and fauna, they meet and mingle and give rise to characteristic distributional patterns, as I told earlier. And India, we all know, has an exceptionally rich and highly diversified flora and fauna. Uh, this is the taxonomic hierarchy of bees. We have 7 bee families under Apoidea, only bee families I am talking about, and only 6 of them have been reported from India. One is not found either in the Oriental region, and also from the Indian subcontinent. Bee taxonomy, I am a taxonomist actually, so it is interesting but difficult. But most terminology, because most terminology are very relevant only to a particular group of bees. So, and male members are essential, and they are rare and difficult to collect, and they are required for what should I say, species level, for verification of species level identification. Bees, and informal grouping has been done based on the length of their mouth parts. So long and short-tongued bees are there. So you can see from the examples, bombus, then Apis, Anthophora, they are all long-term proboscis, while short-tongued bees are Halictus, Collectus, etc. So not from this, you can understand why I said that not all bees can pollinate all crops and flowers. This is the bee fauna of India. We lag far behind. Total number of bee species is more than 20,000 on record currently. And from India, it is only 821. So this is the taxonomic diversity, you can say. Most dominant in terms of species is APD, which has most of the well-known bee fauna, bumblebees, then honeybees, etc., etc. So a lot of, then next is Megachilidae, 256 species, and then Halictidae, very difficult to identify, but very efficient pollinators, and uh, then comes Collectidae and Melitidae, and Andrenidae, only one genus is there worldwide, but number of species is very less. These are specifically pollinators of apple, apricots, etc., etc. Uh, these are some of the characters which are used for identification of each of these families. But here also there are many finer nuances in the identification character. They will not be exactly like this. Certain modifications will be there in these characters also. So these are the honeybee species which are there in India 6, and a few have been introduced. So these are the just the photographs of the various bee species. Another group, important group, the stingless bees in this family Apidae. Worldwide, 600 species are there under 60 genera. This I'll have to check because my previous person, he said 27 species of stingless bees is there. But as per literature, it is only 16 species. And Indian stingless bees species only belong to three of these: Tetragonula, Trigona, and Lepidotrigona. And among them, Tetragonula is the most dominant one. One of my students, 2 years back, he finished. He has described 5 new species in Tetragonula. We are in the process of publishing. This is all from, most of them from Delhi. So each state-wise fauna has to be explored. Uh, Economic importance, we all know they also produce honey, which has got medicinal value, and very less quantity of honey is produced compared to the other honeybees. And stingless bees are very efficient pollinators, where even honeybees fail to pollinate. And on record, there are 60 cultivated crops which these stingless bees are pollinating. These are just, I wanted to show you the diversity. That same species, when they are making nest in different places, cracks and crevices of buildings, or even the trees and all, the entrances might look different. And this is actually the nest architecture of a stingless bee. You can see food storage areas are different from the brood chamber, and resin, the wax is also there. So, just to give you a feel of these bees. Megachilidae, I said, another important family, and most of us, we think they are damaging our crops because they are leaf cutting, but they are very good pollinators. And the pollen brush, which is there in the legs of honeybees, they are present in the underside of the abdomen. Andrena, mining bees, very efficient pollinators of, as I said, apple, apricot, etc. Coletidae, these are also called as colister bees. I found records of these bees from different parts of India, but none of the papers uh, associated the flora with these bees. So one of my students from who worked on the fauna of Meghalaya, she found these bees were efficiently pollinating many of the medicinal plants which are there. So these can be, looked into in a proper manner. Melitidae, mining bees. These very few species have been described, and these bees, they are efficient for collecting floral oils in addition to pollen and nectar on which they feed. Halictidae, very big group, and very efficient pollinators, but most of the time they are not, collected, or they are mistaken to be small wasps and all, and they are not. They are actually making their nest in soil or wood. So most of the time they are not. They are not, seen or but very good pollinators. And economic importance, on record, more than 118 crops are pollinated by halictids. These nomia, these 5-6 species which I have mentioned, they are very important for fruits and flowers worldwide, in fact, and they are present in large numbers in our country also. And halictus is very efficiently pollinating these few crops. On record, I'm talking from literature only. Now, because the lecture was here, I just tried to collect the papers of Ladakh. In fact, only 6 to 8 papers were there. And this is the group. 5 of the families are represented in Ladakh. But I expect more of halictids and andrenids than what has been uh, recorded. And here also, those seven papers, none of them associated the bees with the crops. So this also needs, surveys are required, and a little bit of attention to the crops which they are pollinating. So a total of 12 genera represented by 43 species. But these halictids have not been identified to the species level, just like that it is there. Of late, we are talking about pollinator decline, and it has become a matter of concern. And some of the potential major threats to pollinators and thereby the ecosystem services also, we all know. I will not go into it. Extreme weather conditions, habitat loss, etc., etc. So, an option which we should explore now is to overcome these eventualities is expanding our attention beyond the conventional species of pollinators. That is, we have to look at the wild bees for pollinating. We have to record, survey, and look for more pollinators among the wild bees and non-social bees. And uh, there are papers where scientists, they have said that wild pollinators contribute to about 85% of the global pollination services. Honeybees, they are efficient pollinators for a wide range of crops, but they have their limitations also. They are social insects, more vulnerable to temperature fluctuations, and also uh, their flight becomes limited during cold, windy, wet, dark days. So, over reliance on one or two species might affect our preparedness for the future threats. Therefore, native pollinators, which have been ignored so far, should be looked at in a as a future sustainable efficient option. These are some of the solitary bees which are very efficient pollinators, and most of you would have come across these bees sometime or the other. Very, some of them. There are huge numbers. These are just a few which are very common. And now comes the need to conserve this pollinator diversity, which is essential to realize yield potentials. And we also have to conserve rare and endemic species of uh, honeybees and also other pollinators. Honeybees, we know, we are all working on it, but other pollinators also have to be conserved for achieving our goal of sustainable agriculture. Now, some of the pollination conservation methods, because there is a lecture for this also later on, I'll not go into details. So, suitable shelters have to be provided, suitable food, and source of water. These are essential for conservation of pollinators. Awareness of farmers, this is very, very important. They have to be, we all keep on teaching them, but it is for them to listen or to ignore. So they also should use certain precautions when they are using pesticides, and also the method they are applying it on the crop. Uh, See, there was a lot of hue and cry about 5G harming the bees. But could we do anything? No, we could not do. There were a lot of discussions, lot of publications, everything. But 5G has come. We all know, but still we could not do anything. Then conservation and utilization of pollinators. FAO and other international organizations, they have been, they have, they have been using or uh, trying to propose approach or farming with alternative pollinators. And this primarily involves enhancing field and orchards with pollinator forage corridors. And these corridors would not only help in preventing soil erosion, but also will provide nesting and breeding sites for not only the pests, natural enemies of pests, but also the pollinators. Such type of initiatives will, in habitat management, will go a long way in conserving the biodiversity of pollinator species. And in addition, spreading awareness upon the contributions of native non-domesticated species will also help us to some extent to reverse the pollinator decline crisis. These are some of the conclusions. I have been talking about them. But most important among these is awareness generation of all the involved stakeholders. So, with this, I'll just finish. Thank you. And in the words of Albert Einstein, if the bee disappeared off the surface of the globe, then man would have only 4 years of life left. No more pollination, no more plants, no more animals, and so no more man. Thank you.
Okay. Can we take one or two questions? Okay, no questions? So thank you, ma'am, for delivering such an informative lectures. And we have to go on next presentation.
To the participants, stage is open for discussion. Any question? Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for your enlightening talk on bees biodiversity and valuable scientific insights. Moving ahead, we have our next keynote speaker, Dr. Faizan Ahmed from School of Agriculture and Science and Technology, Kargil. I request Dr. Faizan Ahmed to kindly share his keynote address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for having me here. And I want to tell you something before moving ahead. I'm not an entomologist. I'm a fruit scientist, basically. So I will be sharing my experiences as a small instant as a beekeeper in the last 6 to 7 years. About Ladakh, because our idea when in the 2019, the idea was conceived by Dr. Sheikh Bilal Ahmed, our former ADR. He was an entomologist rather. So he told me at that time that the dearth period of Kashmir can be utilized by the flora of Ladakh for extracting honey from, especially from alfalfa, as we have very big chunks of alfalfa especially in Ladakh. So at that time, the idea was conceived, and he was he was working as regional director at ISCOST Vadura campus. So we introduced the colonies for the first time at our campus, which is in Kargil, basically. So my knowledge is very limited about the subject, but I would be definitely sharing what we have done at our campus in last 6 to 7 years. So about Ladakh, this is the climate of, it is totally different, and beekeeping is in a fancy stage in Ladakh, I must say, because we don't have entrepreneurs who are doing this beekeeping at commercial level. Yesterday, I met one person. He is from Nubra, and he is doing that. So I was not knowing, and he is doing in collaboration with New Zealand. So I was very impressed. So in Kargil, one farmer brought 4 colonies in the year 2015. And then he came to us that the total 4 colonies were wiped out in the month of September. So he was very interested at that time, but due to this total failure of those colonies, he was very upset. So because he was not knowing that he has to migrate those colonies back to Kashmir after harvesting honey. He harvested honey at that time from those 4 colonies. So I really wanted to help him at that time, but being from a different stream, I couldn't. So in the 2019, we started with Dr. Bilal. So altitude is very high. You can say 2500 to 500 above mean sea level. Flowering season is also short. This is the peculiarity of Ladakh, and it is very rich in medicinal and wild flora, potential for organic honey production. This point I want to really highlight, because Ladakh is by default organic. It is said like that because we don't have pesticides. We don't get it from private sources, because we don't have any private supplier or vendor which can supply pesticides. So farmers by default, they are not able to use those pesticides. And in case of alfalfa, it's a pasture grass, fodder grass basically. So it is not sprayed because it is fed to cattle. So it is whatever land is under alfalfa cultivation, it is totally organic. So idea came from that if we are able to extract honey from alfalfa flower, then it would be by default organic. And you can see the typical characteristics of cold arid region: long severe winters with sub-zero temperatures, low humidity and scanty rainfall, because we don't get more than 100 to 200 rainfall in the whole season. The vegetation is also sparse and short summer season, and high altitude and strong winds that really affect the wind movement, bees activity in higher altitude areas. This is the photograph of 2019 when we first time brought the colonies of Apis mellifera, especially from Kashmir, and we organized one training program for awareness program for our farmers, because they were interested. And we are here, we can see we are extracting honey from alfalfa. And as far as the history goes, you can see honey seeker have been depicted on 8,000-year-old cave near Valencia in Spain. So it's a quite old venture, because people have been practicing beekeeping since that era. And you in Quran also, there is one special chapter 16 on honey. You can see verses 68 to 69, Surah An-Nahl, where honey is mentioned. It is a special surah on honey. So there is a description of beekeeping in old ages also. And why beekeeping? So our main objective of having bee colonies in Ladakh as a fruit scientist was to increase the pollination, especially in fruit crops. There is one special variety of Kargil, that is Karkichu, and the tree sizes are very big, but in case of as we compare the yield is very less, and those fruits which we are able to harvest, they are also misshapen just because of poor fruit set. So at that time, I was thinking of bringing colonies for improving fruit set in apple crop, especially because in case of apricot, when the flowering time is in April, and at that time, the night temperature goes very low. So it was not advisable, and we were not able to bring those colonies from Kashmir due to road closure also. So in the month of May, apple generally flowers in Kargil conditions. So our idea was to bring colonies for improving fruit set in, especially in that variety. So, but that could not happen. So we brought the colonies for in 2019 to harvest the honey from, and farmers were not willing to keep those colonies, because they are having the plantation close to their houses also, because their children can be a disturbing element for those colonies. So they didn't allow us to keep those colonies in apple orchards. So to increase the additional income of the farmers, because if they are not they are harvesting alfalfa in the month of July end. So before that, they can get additional honey production, and they can it can increase their income also. That was the idea behind that. And to generate additional employment, because if you are indulging in this type of migratory beekeeping, you need not to have land also. So any farmer, if he is having a big chunk of land on alfalfa, he can hire additional person to bring to migrate those colonies from Kashmir, and it can generate additional employment also. I'll not say much about this because my earlier speaker has told everything. And these are the four basically bees species which are involved in honey making. And the first two, Apis mellifera and Apis cerana indica, they are reared in closed environment, so they can be utilized for honey production. And you can see the photograph is not that good because Apis cerana is always smaller in size to Apis mellifera. And these are the two important bees which are involved in honey production, or we can use in beekeeping. And these are important bee products because as of now, we were thinking only about honey. But here we can see if we are able to harvest honey here in Ladakh also. So additionally, we can generate beeswax, royal jelly, pollen. And this pollen is very good source of protein, and it is being used by athletes also as a diet, protein diet. 40% protein is available in composition, and like propolis and bee venom. And bee venom is really helpful in arthritis also, because I have seen people getting sting of that bee on their knees directly in old ages. And these are the pollination benefits. We can have better seed setting, grain yield, crop quality, and biodiversity conservation is another aspect. In case of apple, if you see in Ladakh, the fruit doesn't have more than 5 seeds, and that is due to poor pollination. And in case of better pollination, you can have 10 seeds from in an apple fruit. So, and here we can see the bee flora of Ladakh. We can exploit buckwheat, mustard, wildflowers, clovers, sea buckthorn, and alfalfa. And this is in between May to September, because that is the death period of Kashmir. Because we are not advising as of now stationary beekeeping in Ladakh, because the temperature drops below zero during winter, so it is not advisable to keep colonies here in winter. And as far as my knowledge goes, bee activity totally hampers below 4 degrees Celsius. And as I earlier mentioned, that was the trial. 50 colonies were brought, and we were able to harvest 7 to 8 kg honey from one colony, because our colonies were very strong, having more than 60,000 bees per colony. And we organized some trainings also. And this is short detail about alfalfa in Ladakh, and my colleagues will be sharing that in detail because they are also going to give oral presentations. And we got this honey also analyzed at our lab in East Coast, Kashmir, alfalfa honey and buckwheat honey also, and they are equally good in quality as per the international standards also, having less than 15% of moisture. And you can see the color of alfalfa honey from light golden to amber, and texture is very smooth, medium thick, and may crystallize into fine. And somebody told me, because I am not an expert, that if the glucose percentage in honey is more than 38% of carbohydrate component, then it crystallizes during winter. Otherwise, it will not. So if the honey is not crystallizing during winter, as told by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, that means the glucose percentage is less than 38. And you can see this is our trial at Kargil. We especially sow the crop of buckwheat after July, harvesting the honey from alfalfa, so as to have second crop of honey in from buckwheat. And these are the key characteristics of buckwheat honey. It is quite dark as compared to alfalfa honey, and sometimes it crystallizes and sometimes it not, as I told you, depending on the composition. And this is a rough economics of beekeeping of our experiment, because if from 10 bee colonies which are strong enough, we can produce 180 to 250 kg of honey per year. That means from 2 seasons. And the average selling price in Ladakh, because people are very fond of having honey in breakfast, so 700 to 1200 rupees per kg we can fetch, and it's a good source of income, additional income for farmers. And these are the rough estimates. Low estimate, we can earn more than lakh, and average estimate is done, then we can earn between 1 to 2 lakhs. And if the estimate is made high, then we can earn up to 3 lakhs, depending on the market price. And you know, buckwheat, multiflora, wild forest honey, acacia honey are gaining popularity just due to health benefits. And e-commerce and direct farmer marketing are increasing accessibility of these products. And export demand for Himalayan organic honey is growing in Europe and the Middle East, especially from buckwheat. Consumers become more quality conscious because of concern regarding adulteration in commercial honey brands. This is the talk of town. Basically, everybody looks at the honey product that it is adulterated. So if anything is coming from Ladakh, it can fetch a good price, because there are very limited scope of adulteration in Ladakh. And as far as the scope of beekeeping is concerned, in Ladakh especially, organic, there is a great demand for organic honey, because whatever we were able to produce, it was sold from the exhibition stall itself. So we were not able to bring one sample bottle for this conclave, because we don't have. And this is the time we will be bringing our colonies this year also from Kashmir. And an additional source of employment it can be. And pollination supports through crop, it is a main problem, because the climate is very erratic here. And you know, this year also we are at the time of fruit set, or in apricot, apple, those are important fruit crops, the temperature remains erratic. I have seen in the past 2 3 years, so pollination is poor. So it can, these colonies can be of benefit to improve fruit set in our fruit crops, especially if because the road is now remains open throughout the winter, and by the next year the tunnel will be through. So we will be able to bring the colonies at the time of fruit set also. And women empowerment, because it can be practiced by the women force. Eco-friendly enterprise it is. And if we are able to brand our honey, then we are definitely going to get good price of honey in international markets. And it can be integrated with tourism also, because you know, Ladakh is Leh is especially a tourist place. If it can be integrated with tourism, and then additional better income can be generated through after selling this organic product. And you know, if the honey is harvested from any medicinal source, it can be put to nutraceutical market also. And economics and opportunity, supplementary income of the farmers requires low land for investment, supports organic and eco-friendly farming systems. And as our scientist from KVK Leh, Dr. Sabia is here, she has made a good cake out of using honey with buckwheat. So it can be a good source of value addition for additional income also. And these are the major constraints which can be addressed. Extreme winter mortality, though we haven't practiced because we don't keep colonies during winter. So, but it is a constraint. Short flowering period because we cannot keep those colonies for more than 3 months here. And transportation difficulties, Ladakh has been an extreme place. So these are the some major constraints. And solution is migratory beekeeping, and protected overwintering can be also in future we can use that to keep those colonies during winter here also. And definitely awareness programs about these beekeepings. And certain, because we don't have many farmers practicing beekeeping here, so government has to support this initiative through several platforms. So ICR can be a good institute council, and KVK, they can also support farmers through their demonstrations, and agriculture extension department programs and subsidies from government in this venture can definitely help. And this is the conclusion. It can be a promising source of livelihood in future, and rich flora can support quality honey production in Ladakh, and pollination and fruit set ultimately affecting the productivity. And organic and medicinal honey can be another section of branding, additional rural income, employment, and income generation. Though it definitely requires winter and colony management during winter, and supports sustainable agriculture and biodiversity, and strong potential for commercial apiculture development in the region. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for sharing your practical experience with respect to beekeeping in Ladakh region. So can we take one or two questions? Okay. So no more questions. So this your Ladakh University is doing very good work, but still the beekeeping is in infancy. It's
Yes,
just
yes.
starting. So you should focus more toward the collaborations and project funding through National Bee Board or ICR. Just Dr. Vulsara said,
Yes, yes.
Bee Quality Center, other schemes, so that more and more people can join the beekeeping and earn their livelihood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your informative presentation and valuable contribution to this session. We shall now proceed to the oral presentation segment. I would like to bring it in notice that time for oral presentation is 15 minutes only, and these presentations will be evaluated by our experts, Dr. Devendra Sharma, Dr. Debjani Dey, Dr. Dharampal Abrol, sir, and Dr. Dorje Namgyal. So moving ahead, I invited Dr. Sumit Sahani to kindly begin the presentation.
We'll sit down so that we can see it properly.
Shall I start? Shall I start? First of all, thank you, University of Ladakh and the organizers for giving me the opportunity to present my work on the honey in the IKS. First of all, I would like to confess that I am not an expert in honey or beekeeping, but except that I have been stung by the bee 5-6 times. The latest being when I was about to board the flight to Ladakh. Apart from that, I have got the opportunity in the UGC subject committee as expert in drafting the new courses which should integrate the IKS into it. There I got the opportunity to understand the importance of honey in the IKS. So my presentation would include only these things. Apart from that, I am being the nodal officer of the skill enhancement courses under NEP 2022 in University of Delhi. I came across many new subjects which would impart skills to the students, and apiculture is one of them. And we are continuously increasing the progressive courses in apiculture so that the students would get more skills related to the honey culture. So I'm starting with my presentation, that is honey in the IKS, from ancient wisdom to the modern policy. This is a quote from Rig Veda, Madhuvina Madhu Yata Sarasam Tadev Paramatma Vritam. Means the sweet honey of the bees is verily the supreme nectar. So, it is not working. Yeah, thank you. Honey, which is also known as Madhu in Sanskrit and Hindi, it is mentioned in our ancient literature since more than 5,000 years ago. We all know that we are using honey in Panchamrit, that is one of the 5 sacred substances in Hindu Abhisheka rituals, as well as many of the puja ceremonies. In Ashtavarga, there are 8 types of honeys in Charak Samhita, it was mentioned there in Charak Samhita, which have distinct healing properties. Apart from that, in Madhuparka, which we used to offer to our guests, honored guests in the Vedic tradition, in Rasayana, that is the chemistry, honey is the core substance, core ingredient in the rejuvenating therapies for longevity and spiritual vitality. In Brahmar Veda, Brahmara means that bee. Ancient science of bees, beekeeping is already mentioned in Earth Shastra, that is 300 BC. In the divine offering, we are using honey while doing sacred puja and all, havans and puja, etc. So below there is mentioned the timeline, 5,000 years of Madhu or honey civilization, starting from Rig Veda, that is 1500 BC, to Atharva Veda, 1200 BC, Charak Samhita, Sushrut, Arth Shastra, and modern Ayush. In Rig Veda, there are 60 plus references of honey, but the domain is not exactly what we perceive today. It is something related to spirituality and cosmology. The key contribution is Madhu Sukta, that is honey as a cosmic elixir. In Atharva Veda, there are 40 plus references that are mostly related to the healing and medicinal properties. Honey is used since past many years and civilizations for healing of wounds, vitality, and poison removal. In Charak Samhita, I have already mentioned that 8 types of honeys are mentioned, which is used in many therapeutic Ayurvedic therapeutics. In Sushruta Samhita, there are 634 plus preparations, and it is majorly used in the clinical surgery, etc. Example, antimicrobial dressings, eye drops, wound care. In Earth Shastra, there is a full chapter on economics and governance related to the honey. In Ayurvedic properties and therapeutic applications, it is used to calm all the 3 types of doshas, starting from Vat doshas. Warm honey with ginger and black pepper can be used for the respiratory disorders, joint pains, and nervous weaknesses. But it should not be given when the honey is hot. Once we cool it, then we can administer to the patient. In Pitta dosha, in small quantities, it will balance Pitta when combined with the rose water amla, and it helps in cooling the inflammation. It is also used as anjan, that is eye treatment, and kusht skin disorders. In Kapha dosha, it is used in many ailments like obesity, diabetes, respiratory congestions, etc. These are the mention of Ashtavidha Madhu in Charak Samhita. The types are 8: Potica, source is small bees, and it is used, it is burning and hemorrhagic. So we have to use it with great caution. In Bhramra, large bees are the source. It is heavy and viscous, and it is used for treatment of kapha disorders and wounds. Shodra, small bees, which is light and thin, tridosha. All the tridoshas can be treated with the Shodra honey. In Makshika, it is highly therapeutic, used as anjana, that is eye, jaundice, and liver. In Chhatra, it is rich in moisture, so it get spoiled if not used quickly. So it has to use fresh, and it is used in arthritis and different kind of pains. In Aragya, Adulaka, or Dala, it has varied properties ranging from gout, obesity, and anti-diabetic. Honey is used across the Indian living traditions, starting from religious rituals, like we have already mentioned, Panchamrit, Madhuparka, wedding rituals, Namkaran, Havana, and Diwali also. In folk medicines, tribal communities use 200 plus bee species as a medicine. Honey plus turmeric, we are already using it for millennia in treating the wounds. Eye drops is for treatment of cataract. It is mentioned in Siddha medicine that honey is important. For cough and cold, we used honey, tulsi, ginger, which is a universal medicine. Apart from that, we also use Sitopladi churn for the cough, where it is mixed with honey and then it is administered to the patient. In mental health, honey, when a Brahmari, is a magic wand which will treat the mental health very fast. In infant care, we are using it with the ghee for teething. We used to rub the honey and ghee on the swollen gums of the child, which is about to be teeth. In culinary and cultural practices, we are already using it in many places, starting from the Panchamrit, Madhumantha, Sura, that is a ritual mead in the ancient Vedic ceremonies. It is already mentioned there. In Rajasthani cuisine, Kashmir, Doon honey from Apis dorsata, it's a heritage honey. In Varli art also, honey and honey bees is depicting in many paintings. In modern science, it is also validating the use and the importance of honey in medicine, in treating various ailments. Starting from 634 Ayurvedic formulations, we already have the data. 200 plus bioactive compounds have already been identified in various kind of honeys. 4,000 plus years of documented therapeutic use in India is documented. The honey market size as of 2024 is more than 8,000 crores. So today's science is only believing when we experimented it with. So apart from our IKS knowledge, there is many instances, many references where honey has already been used in treating antimicrobial action. For example, Makshika honey inhibits MRSA, H2O2 and defensive mechanisms are confirmed by the honey. In anti-diabetic, Adulika honey reduces HbA1c from 0.5 to 1.2% in type 2 diabetes. In anti-inflammatory, chrysin and camphorol inhibits COX-2 enzymes. COX-2 enzyme cascade. It validates the Shodha treatment. In wound healing, Medi honey is already FDA approved, which parallels the Charak Dushatvaran dressings. Dushatvaran means the wound which is not yet healed. Cognitive enhancement, honey and Brahmari improves acetylcholine, which is validated by Wagbart's Rasayana. Prebiotic function is already approved because of the presence of oligosaccharides in Brahmra honey, which promotes the gut bacteria. National policy framework is also there for honey, and there are many ministries which are governing the whole ecosystem of the honey. Starting from the Agricultural Ministry, which is taking care of production and apiculture. Ayush Ministry is taking care about the medicinal importance, their experimentations, and apart from that, the medicinal standards to be set for the honey usage in the medicines. There is a Ministry of Tribal Affairs, which is continuously working on the community empowerment. MSME is working on the processing and enterprise development. Education Ministry is working on integration of apiculture and others in IKS through the IKS integration. And Commerce Ministry is working on the export and trade of the honey which is being there. So policy timeline is 2006, National Bee Board was developed under KVIC. In 2017, National Honey Mission was developed, 500 crore outlay was there. 50,000 beekeepers were trained in the mission. In 2020, Sweet Revolution, PM Modi's Madhur Kranti, where he mentioned that honey is as a fifth pillar of the Blue Revolution. In 2022, FSSAI honey standards were there. There is strict NMR testing guidelines, GI tagging for Kashmir, Morbi and Sundarban honeys. And Honey Mission expanded in 2013 to train more tribal units, and 5 crore bee colonies were target. In NEP 2020, there is integration of IKS. There is integration of honey and beekeeping through IKS into the education. In NEP 2020, provisions are there. Chapter 4.27, honey as a case study of the traditional sciences and IKS promotion. Dedicated funding for honey research in Ayush, agriculture and environmental sciences. In school curriculum, local ecology and apiculture is there from class 6 to 8 under experiential learning. In higher education, interdisciplinary apicultural programs were there. They incorporated this into the botany, chemistry, Ayush, enterprises, entrepreneurship curriculums. In skill development through MSME, MSDE, honey processing as a vocational skill comes under the NSQ of empowering the tribal communities. Community Connect, IKS-based system was developed to partner with the local schools to partner with the local beekeepers. The implementation of this roadmap have already started. In phase 1, IKS honey curriculum is already imparted in the NCERT, in which training of 10,000 teachers were there across the 28 states. In phase 2, which is currently being run, government mentioned that there should be school apiary labs in 500 Eklavya model residential schools. These are the specialized schools in the tribal communities for the students. In phase 3, 2026 to 27, the government is planning to launch BSc Apiculture and Honey Technology in 50 plus agricultural universities. And in phase 4, honey knowledge, National Honey Knowledge Repository will be there, which will archive the 300 plus honey manuscripts through the IKS systems. So let us come to the honey economy. We are just discussing about the IKS. Now we come into the global trade and economics. 1.2 lakh metric ton is the annual production, and India is the third largest globally. 2,800 crore is the annual export value, and our topmost buyers are USA, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. 35 lakh registered bee colonies are there, and our target for 2030 is up to 2 crores. 5 million livelihoods are supported by the beekeeping and honey, of which 70% are tribal people and mostly are women. So apart from that, we have specialized kinds of honey, which we have given the GI tags. First is Kashmir honey, Sundarban honey, Western Ghat honey, Morbi, and Nilgiri. But where the policy gaps are there, and what are the further recommendations? 68% honey fails NMR test, FSSAI data is there. So we must fund 500 plus solar power micro honey processing units so that our honey could not fail the NMR tests. Only 12% of honey is processed. We should promote the processing, and mandatory traceability IQR codes on honey pack should be there. And the most important, and we should say that the threat to Indian honey and beekeeping is dumping of cheap China honey, which is actually not honey, it's a sugar syrup, corn and rice syrup, which is more shiny, more golden in color, which has the more commercial appeal. So we should import duty rationalization should be there, and anti-dumping measures should be taken by the government so that we could stop the import of China honey. In global civilizations, India is on the top with more than 5,000 plus years of using the honey. And honey is used in all the 5 domains, starting from spirituality, medicinal importance, economic, ecological, and educational domains. In Egypt, it is, the latest mentioning of 3000 BC, but it is mostly in the medicine and religion purpose. In Greece, it is used as ambrosia of gods, and Hippocratic medicine is there. So medicine and mythology domains honey covers in Greece. In China, it is used only in the traditional medicine. So India is the only civilization which integrates honey into spirituality, medicine, economy, ecology, and education. Honey can also be used as the answer for the sustainable development goals. So I have zeroed down on the 6 different SDGs, that is SDG 2, zero hunger, by giving the employability. Second is the good health and well-being. We have already mentioned that honey is being used as a traditional medicine, and recent experimentations and researches is going on. SDG partnership for 17, that is the partnership for goals. We can contribute, we can collaborate with the different countries where we can promote the honey and we can exchange our knowledge related to the honey. In SDG 8, it provides a decent work and growth for the farmers. In SDG 15, life on land, bees, we know, pollinate 70% of the food crops. And in National Pollinator Mission, we can restore wild bee honey habitats across 50,000 villages. It also provides gender equality, as most of the beekeepers are female. Sorry. The crisis, it has already been mentioned in the earlier presentation, so I'm not detailing on this. Recommendations for a unified vision for honey is through research under CCRS, ICAR, CSIR, and digitize the 1 lakh plus manuscripts. In education, mandatory apiculture should be there in the 10th, 9th to 12th, BSc honey technology in at least 100 colleges. In regulations, export quality, GI protection, pricing support, adulteration penalties should be there. Empower the women and tribal population. Global diplomacy should be there. Propose the UN National Day for Honey. Lead WHO TM strategy. We can collaborate and cooperate with the Asian and African nations for that. And protect pollinators through various missions. So I would end my presentation by this sukta from Rigveda. Madhu vata ritayate, madhu rakshanti sindhavaha, madhavirnaha santosh bhi. It means, let the wind blow sweetly, let the river flow with honey, and let our herbs and plants be filled with the sweetness. Honey unites ancient wisdom with modern sciences. 5,000 years of Madhu Vidya awaits global recognition. India can become the world's honey knowledge group, and through NEP, we can bridge our tradition to our knowledge, modern innovation and knowledge systems. Thank you. Any questions?
I would like to request experts for their questions.
Was very good, highly informative. I want to have 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
Number 1, you have given a reference of a ancient literature where you have mentioned honey from Apis mellifera.
Yes,
Apis mellifera was
mellifera
introduced in India in 1962. How it came in those ancient literature?
Sir, earlier the system of giving
You
the
can simply
binomial
mention,
nomenclature.
you can simply mention honeybees
Honeybees, yes, sir. True.
because in India there was no mellifera.
Exactly, sir.
Number 1. Number 2, in J&K, under honey tagging, you have shown Apis cerana and Apis dorsata in Kashmir honey.
Yes, sir.
In Kashmir, there is no Apis dorsata. Only Apis cerana or mellifera is there, but in Kashmir, there is no dorsata.
Sir, I got
You,
some.
these are simply, you check these points.
Definitely, sir, I do.
Because in such a good document, so these points should be rectified.
Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir. Any other question?
If one of the slides you have written honey from 200 species.
Yes, ma'am. Most of them you have mentioned only in your presentation.
200 species कहाँ से होगा? Honey bee के the honey producing bees कितने हैं? You can count them on your fingers. 200 species तो कहीं से भी नहीं. You just go back to the slide.
Yes, ma'am.
I also want to see whether I am right or you are right. I have one.
No, ma'am, it's written there. 200 plus species I have written. I have written 200 plus species.
200 plus species. कैसे
Just a
from where
minute.
did you get that?
Ma'am, from different sources. I mean, I have
That's 200 species. कैसे different sources? Which sources?
200 plus bee species used
Bee
medicinally.
species used medicinally. Tribal communities, 200 plus bee species.
I think that means 200 plus total protein they use.
Yes, ma'am.
And another thing which you mentioned in your abstract, to analyze the scientific and therapeutic relevance of traditional honey knowledge. So, what are your key findings in this?
Ma'am, I have mentioned there.
Just you tell, you don't have to go back to the slides, just 2 or 3 important things which you.
Ma'am, one is, I mean, it is used to reduce HB1AC level from 0.5 to 1.2%, which means uh, uh, by acting on a cascading gene, COX2. Apart from that, it is used in treatment of wound healings and all. There are many examples mentioned there. By increasing the activity of H2O2. Increasing by H2O2 is basically to increase the oxidative things and decreasing the bacterial or the microbial load in the wound. So there are many examples. Melittin is also there, which is being used in the bee venom therapy, which is present in the bee sting. So there are many examples. Yes, sir. 0.5 to 1.2% in type 2 diabetics. Yes, sir. Sir, that is true. Yes, sir. But sir, it is not consist of only honey, only sugar. Apart from that, there are many other components in it. Yes, sir. But this, I am talking about the research which has been done, and I am showing the results. But we have to frame out how it is happening. We have to go through the mechanisms and all. Then only we could say that. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, experts, for your evaluation. Thank you, Sumit sir, for your interesting presentation. Next, we have Dr. Vilas Palgaonkar from the Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai, Maharashtra. I invite Dr. Vilas to kindly deliver his presentation. Dr. Vilas Palgaonkar. I guess he is not with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we draw to close of this remarkable session, I would like to invite Dr. Konchop Dorje sir, Dean of Science, University of Ladakh, to felicitate our keynote speakers of this session. Please join us, sir, on stage. Our first keynote speaker is Mr. Apurva BV, Chairman of the organization The Hive Trust Bangalore. Sir, I kindly request you to come forward and accept our token of appreciation. Thank you, sir, for your kindness. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Debjani Day, Emeritus Scientist, DST Vidushi from New Delhi. Ma'am, I kindly request you to give us an opportunity to express our gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Faizan Ahmed, School of Agriculture, Science and Technology, Kargil. I request you, sir, kindly come forward and accept our token of appreciation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Konchak Dorje, sir, with us. We come to the conclusion of technical session 1. I would like to invite our chairperson of this session, Dr. Devinder Sharma, sir, for a conclusion note. Please, sir.
So good afternoon, everybody. In the session, technical session 1, just give me the- so there were 3 keynote address and 2 oral presentations. And 3 keynote address were given by Dr. Shri Apurva Bibi, Dr. Devjani Day, and Dr. Faizan. And only 1 oral presentation was presented by Mr. Dr. Sumit Sani, that is School of Open Learning, University of Delhi. So, Dr. Shri Apurva ji, he in detail mentioned the stationary beekeeping of this Apis cerana. So, region-specific promotion of the stationary beekeeping, that is possible. And another thing, he mentioned regarding the selective breeding of Apis cerana, so that the better strains could be selected for their better qualitative traits. And second oral keynote address was presented by Dr. Devjani Day, and she has in detail presented the this hymenopteran diversity and their conservation measure. And she presented in detail the different detail the hymenopteran diversity and the main features which these bees plays in the, especially the non-apis pollinators, that they play in the biodiversity conservation and promotion of forestry. And the third presentation keynote address was presented by Dr. Faizan, and he shared his practical experience in beekeeping in Ladakh Union Territory, and where he has presented that the honey collected from buckwheat and alfalfa has a great potential in promoting beekeeping in Ladakh region, besides promoting this crop pollination and sustaining the crop diversity. And in his oral presentation, Dr. Sumit Sahani, uh, he presented his keynote address on the madhu, that is honey, and he presented in detail the historical aspect of the honey in Indian literature. So with this word, I thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your conclusion note. I sincerely thank you, our respected chairperson, all keynote speakers, presenter, rapporteur, and participants for their active engagement and valuable contribution. I would also like to inform to all the participants that the posture will be evaluated by our esteemed experts. We encourage presenters to actively engage with the evaluator and participants and share the significance of their work. Also, I will request to participants, please give your presentation to the technical department. I am kindly requesting everyone to proceed for networking lunch. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.